chase your dreams. Come, my Lord, awaken holy fire. We are turning from our sin. We are praying once again. Come, my Lord, awaken holy fire. We are aching for the real thing. Hearts are open wide. Burn like a star, light a fire in our hearts. Burn like a star, light a fire in our hearts. Burn like a star, light a fire in our hearts. Burn like a star, light a fire in our hearts. Yeah! Send revival, start in us. Set your holy spark in us. Send us out in resurrection power. History's about to change. We are rising once again. Send us out in resurrection power. We are aching for
Good morning. I'm Jena Busby. I'm the Director of Children's Ministry here at Cypress, and the footage you just watched is from a camp in Rosebud, Texas, called Beloved and Beyond. It's a camp for kids and adults who have special needs, and my daughter Ella and I served there for the first time last summer, and then these friends on stage, along with my husband, served there this summer. So we're here today for two reasons. Number one, we want to tell you about camp. We think it's an amazing place, and we want to share it with you. And two, we think there are valuable lessons to be learned from camp, and so we want to share those with you as well. So first, a little bit about camp. It was started by a couple, an amazing couple, Glenn and Laura Elder. They have several kids, including two who have special needs, and they created it as a place to be loved to others, and to know that you are beloved by God. And they see all kinds of campers with differing abilities and needs. The three most common that they see are Down syndrome, autism, and cerebral palsy. But there are many, many more, and even within that list, there's just a huge range, because just like you and I are individuals with our own mental and physical needs and abilities, the campers are as well. But at camp, they believe that camp changes lives. And maybe you've experienced this in your own life. Maybe you've seen your kids' lives change through camp, but they want everybody to come and experience camp. They want to share the gospel with kids, and they want to share the love of Jesus with them, and they also just want them to experience camp, like all the activities that you get to do, and sleeping in a cabin with your friends, and all the things that make camp camp. So camp is also a huge blessing to the families, the parents. This is a photo of some parents and their campers, and a lot of the campers require around-the-clock care, and so the week they're at camp might be the only time that these parents get to, rest and recharge, maybe go on a date, maybe go on a little getaway. So it's a huge ministry to the families as well. So going back to why camp exists, today we're going to focus on the second part, to be love to others, and that's why we decided to call the message Be Love. And we don't have to wonder how to be loved to others or how to love others well. God tells us in his word in 1 Corinthians 13, it says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And I had the great privilege of watching this group of teenagers live out this verse this summer at Beloved and Beyond. And they really, every part of the verse I got to see in them. And in fact, both weeks there was another verse that kept going through my mind, and that's 1 Timothy 4:12. And it says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. And I love that it includes in love because that is exactly the example they set for me this summer. So a little more about my friends on stage. So as I said, Ella and I served at camp last summer, and she recruited a few friends, and we all went term 3 along with my husband. That's the top photo, if I would change the slide there. And then Ella was scheduled to go back term 9 just by herself. We were going to drop her off to serve for the week. And a few weeks before term 9, camp called, and I believe at that time they had like 20 open boy volunteer spots. They were still trying to find boy volunteers, and they said, do you know any boys you can bring to camp with you? And we said, we know some boys. And so we took back the 4 that went term 3, along with 6 new boys, and for the sake of the boys and camp, I decided not to just drop 10 boys off, so I stayed and served as well, but they didn't even need me. So our group picture is in the bottom one for term 9. So in a minute, you're going to hear their stories, and I really want to share what I learned from them at camp. But first, I kind of want to give you an idea of what it's like to serve at camp. So volunteers arrive early, and they go through about a day and a half of training, and we learn about some of the different disabilities we'll see. We learn about camper care. We practice wheelchair transfers, what to do in a medical emergency if the camper has a seizure, all kinds of things. It's pretty intense training. And also, we prepare spiritually for what we're going to experience that week. And then on day 2, the campers arrive. It's the best day ever. And before they arrive, all of these volunteers turn in their cell phones for the whole week. And if you have a teenager, you know that's a big deal. If you have a cell phone, you know that's a big deal. So they have no contact with the outside world or social media all week. They are there to serve crew, which many of our kids did. Cleaning toilets, washing dishes, taking out trash, serving food. They also interact with the campers, but they work hard while they're at camp. If they are a buddy, every camper is matched up with a buddy, and if you're a buddy, you're responsible for your camper all week. You are their very best friend for the week, and you also provide for all of their needs. And buddies are within arm's length of their camper all week, 24 hours a day. The only exception is about an hour in the evenings when the campers are asleep. They go for their devotional time. So it's hard. It's not easy. It's pretty intense. The pictures and videos show all the smiles and the fun, and it is very rewarding, but it is not easy. It's an intense week. The camp director, Laura Elder, I think says it best. At the training, she says, this might be the hardest, best week of your life. And I think that's true for a lot of the volunteers. So this group has so much to teach us. I want you to hear their stories, and we're going to start with Cannon.
My name is Cannon. I served at term 9 as a buddy for Jack Stevens. I think my favorite part about camp was being friends with my camper. He was very homesick and very stubborn about a lot, but he was really great to be around, and he taught me a lot. And he taught me about patience, just being with them, putting someone else for myself. Jack had been going to camp before I went. This was my first year, and the day I got there, everybody told me that he was very, very homesick, and that's all he wanted to do the whole time he was there, is he wanted to go home. After a while, he changed, and I don't know, it probably wasn't me, but we started having fun together, and then I didn't think I would be able to try to help him with a relationship with God, but he did. I got him to pray once, and I didn't think he would be able to do it, because he only ever said a few words, but I got him to pray, and it was a really heartfelt moment for me. But one thing that I really did learn is that you can worship God no matter what. No matter if you can't talk, you can't hear, you can't see. God will always be there for you, and you can always have a connection with Him. and God's love is unconditional.
All right, so Cannon, when I think of you, I think of the part of the verse that says, love always hopes. Because you're right, Jack was so homesick. And day one, I'll be honest, I was not very hopeful for Jack. And I was concerned for Cannon and thought it might be a really rough week. But Cannon wasn't that way. He knew that love always hopes. And he just kept hoping for a good week. And he celebrated every little win. I remember day 2, he got on a horse, and Cannon, I saw him at lunch, and he was so excited that he got Jack on a horse. And every little win he had, he celebrated and was just so hopeful that his week would get better. And it did get better. And Cannon says in the video it wasn't him. Well, I was there, and it was absolutely him, and it was him allowing God to love Jack through him. So thank you for showing me that, Cannon. So Cannon, this was your first time to work with people with special needs, and I want to hear kind of what you learned from them.
Well, this was my first time working with someone with special needs, and it was definitely a challenge for me, and it was definitely a learning experience, and it taught me to just be patient, and it taught me how to put someone else's needs before mine, because at that time, getting a connection with God for them is more important, and it taught me how to be patient and put someone else's needs before mine.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right, Colby.
Hi, my name is Colby Atkins. I served as a buddy at term 3. My camper's name was Crystal. My favorite part about serving at Love to Beyond was probably that I got to meet so many new people and that I had the chance to take care of someone else, and that made me feel very, very good. I was really nervous to go to Love to Beyond because it was very different from what I've done before. God got me through the week by giving me courage and strength. I learned to put others before myself because I'm not always the one who needs to be put first. My camper Crystal taught me to be brave no matter the circumstance.
Colby, when I think of you, I think of the part of the verse that says love is kind, because you have such a kind and gentle spirit, and always, but we got to see that at camp with your love for Crystal, and you were just always so kind and patient with her, and I loved seeing that. And also, Colby is a big reason that we're here this morning, because when they first asked me about doing this, I was like, there's a reason I work with kids. I don't like to speak to adults. In fact, sometimes when I'm speaking to adults, my throat closes up and I cannot speak. And then I remembered that Colby, when I dropped her off at her cabin, and she was so scared, because this is a lot, she said, I felt like my throat was closing up and I couldn't speak. And I thought, well, I can't ask something of Colby that I'm not willing to do myself. And so that convicted me that I need to get on stage and have the same courage and bravery in the Lord that Colby had. So thank you, Colby. Armando.
Hi, my name is Armando Jaimes. I served at Beloved and Beyond for terms 3 and 9. My campers were Nico and Michael, and I learned a lot of really good lessons, life lessons at Beloved and Beyond, about patience and endurance and just unconditional love. I really enjoyed serving there, and I look forward to going again.
Armando, you live out so much of 1 Corinthians 13, but what I thought of you specifically with Michael, your camper for term 9, was that love is not easily angered and keeps no record of wrongs, because Michael was nonverbal, and so nonverbal campers will communicate with their actions a lot, and if they're frustrated, they might lash out. And you told me that you got really good reflexes by the end of camp, because Michael was a little bit of a hitter, but you were never angered. You did not keep record of wrongs, and I knew that after Michael hit you, you loved him just as much as you did before, and I loved seeing that play out that week with Michael. And then term 3, you had Nico. So tell us about what it was like to be a buddy to Nico.
Nico was awesome. He always liked to be like the center of attention, dancing at the parties that we had of the night. He loved to dance, and that's something that we had in common. Hanging out with Nico for the week really taught me to like let go of my certain situations and problems, and just give it all to God, and like live in the moment, and follow where God leads me instead of trying to make my own path.
I love that. Thank you, Armando. All right, Jill.
My name is Jillian Winters, and I served term 3 as B crew. My favorite part about serving was getting to watch the campers, get to worship, and have fun. The most challenging thing about having to serve there was having to watch all the campers leave. It was so sad. They were all sad to leave. One thing I learned was to go out of your comfort zone because you might end up liking it. Something I learned from the campers is that no matter the disability, you can always worship God and have fun. I had so much fun at Beloved and Beyond. I would love to go again and serve.
So, Jill, when I think of you, I think of the part of the verse that says, love is not self-seeking, because you came ready to serve with a servant's heart, just eager to jump in and do whatever was needed. And you're on B crew, so you worked hard, cleaned a lot of toilets, cleaned a lot of cabins, washed a lot of dishes. You were a waitress at the meals. You even had to serve some of these guys. So that was definitely not being self-seeking. And I loved that about you. And your mom told me that when y'all got home, y'all were in the little cafe at Sam's Club, and she had to stop you because you were about to go help people with their trash and take their plates and things like that, because you were in such a servant-hearted mode that you took it home from camp. And I think that's so cool. All right, Grant.
My name is Grant Jones, and I served at Term 9 as a buddy to Nico Lloyd. Nico was amazing, and I consider him my best friend forever, but one thing about him is he liked to move slowly and didn't like to leave activities he enjoyed. So I really learned